Stubby. All right. So for you, I didn't really look at it too much, but yeah, like I said, it comes out of your hand much harder than what you're putting out on the mound. So in conjunction with the screen that Connor was doing, kind of like, we'll see more with the force plates in terms of like how fast you're producing force, all that kind of stuff, and that takes 10 minutes to do. We'll do that next time, just remind me. But in terms of training, learning how to utilize the backside, learning how to, because the backside is not a pushing side, it's just leveraging energy, and learning how to do that is going to be very powerful for you. Like lateral hop. The lateral hop should improve in terms of what you're doing. However, the ability to hold ground is paramount to timing. Holding ground and holding the pelvis underneath you is paramount to timing with what you're doing. But right now, within your drop, I'm not necessarily like a labeler of quad dominance or anything like that. I think there's a lot of mislabels just because it's the only thing people understand. What I do know is this angle that we create right through here. When your hips shoot out from underneath you like that, it becomes very hard to hold energy through the ground, okay? When your hips leak out this way and we cannot hold energy through the ground, what's gonna happen is our body understands that we're not holding rotational torque through the ground. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
So, when we understand that we cannot hold rotational torque through the ground, what's gonna happen is you're gonna start to yank out very early. So by the time that would be like weight acceptance through here, or I'm sorry, foot tap through here, weight acceptance, you've essentially lost any kind of rotational torque through the back side. And just anatomically speaking, at the point of explosion, like when you should be hitting like your max rotational acceleration, the angle of like your femur to your hip, it's a pretty steep angle this way. It becomes virtually impossible to create any kind of rotational force out of the backside. So you're leaving the backside very early. And that's why your top half starts to yank out and it starts beating everything. Okay? And so, no, are you still behind me? So, with that being said, that's why we don't have any layback. That's also why you tend to sail it really high when we're playing catch, because your arm, when your top half's starting to turn over early, this angle right here sucks. That's going to create a lot of shoulder impingement issues and a lot of elbow issues if it hasn't already. Okay? And so now, like in this position, this should be familiar for Noah, even though he's throwing 94 out of this position. It's really hard for you to get into a clean turn and start to share the load from the lat to the pec, right? You're that's why you have this big head yank out, because you're trying to get into a good clean back position. Boom. And that's destroying a lot of potential velocity and energy transfer up the chain. Okay? So, big things with you. And when I make these videos here, when we train together, it's never about like stating where we want to be in a certain position. It's more about feel. So this is just kind of a before and after when we start learning how to really just like find our power funnel versus our first move with this front side yanking us away. You're going to have a significant uptick in velocity and it's going to fly true. But a lot of times when we see guys yank out a little bit early, we miss a lot with false cutters and arm side stuff, right? Just because the arm is never on time and we can't access the big body parts. Cool? That's what we got there.